Get a load of these guys. Jeff and Jeremy in the morning. 93.3 KZOZ rocks.
Well, if you're feeling overwhelmed, they say you should do a to-don't list. Instead of a to-do list, do a to-don't list. So if you're just overwhelmed because you have so much going on in your life, they're saying what you should do is make a list of things you don't have to do, and that will make you feel better because we've all become so soft, or at least the younger generations have.
Yeah, don't focus on the things that you have to do. Focus on stuff that's just going to make you feel better, man.
Like that you don't have to do. I don't have to mow the yard today.
Look at that. Things are looking good. While I ignore this thing over here that I have to do. Yeah.
See, the problem is I wake up in the middle of the night and that to-don't list haunts me. And I'm like, oh, God, I made that list yesterday. I didn't get any of that done. And now I can't stop thinking about that. I got to make sure I get it done today.
Yeah. Happened to me the other night. Got up at 3 o'clock, sitting there tossing and turning, thinking about these things I have to do. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to get up and do them right now. I'm not even going to mess with it. Get up and do them before I get ready for work and get them done.
Get them
on. You know what?
Get them out of the way.
You know what made me feel better that day? Getting that crap done.
To-don't lists are for the non-essential things, Jeff, that suck up our time. Like what? Give me an example, would you? What's a do not do list?
I don't know.
Shave? What makes the do not do list?
I mean, you have to shave eventually, so I don't know. I really don't know.
Shave.
I don't know. Like there should be no don't lists. Like that's such hogwash.
Well, Jeff, the idea is to be mindful about the stuff that's eating up your time and making your life less enjoyable. But unlike to-do lists, you don't need to make one every single day.
You know what I don't have to do is make another unnecessary list.
I am a list guy, though. I love lists. On the other hand, I recommend everybody doing a to-do list and then checking it off because I guarantee you, every time you check something off your to-do list, you feel better about yourself.
I've come around to the to-do list, but I don't really 100% embrace it. Like I'm not I don't follow it to the letter of the law because things come up and you have to pivot and do other things. So I'm about 50 to 60% on my to-do list, but the whole premise of doing a to-do list is maddening to me because while I'm sitting there making the list, I'm thinking, why aren't I just doing this stuff instead of making a list to do this?
Because if you don't write it down, you're going to forget something. That's how it works for me.
I get it. That's why I'm about 50, 60%. And I think by nature, I prioritize the stuff that's most important and that needs to be done right away. At the top of that list, and that's the 50 to 60% that I need. And then once I start looking at that list and I'm panicking, I'm like, I gotta get on this. I stop making the list and I do those things.
Like grocery lists or like going to any store and buying stuff. If I make a list, I have a mission. If I don't make a list, I'm walking around and I'm buying stuff that I had no plans on buying, but I'm buying it because I'm like, oh, it's on sale. Or, oh, it's right there. Did a little trip to Harbor Freight yesterday. By the way, are you in the club? I joined the club. It's 2 years, $45.
Oh, no, I'm not in that club. I refuse.
Oh, it was $30, but then you get all these deals. You don't have to wait for them. Anyway, she sold me. I'm like, yeah, I've been buying enough stuff here. I might as well get on this deal.
You had to pay to be in the club?
You pay, but you get access to additional price cuts. And when you buy something, they scan it. And if it's on the coupon thing, you get that extra percentage off. If you're not in the club, that doesn't happen.
But you have to pay annually for the club? So
it's $30, $29 for the year.
I don't know if I like that.
Or $45 for 2 years. So I said,
well, that's good. That's good news. I'll just have you buy my stuff at Harbor Freight from now on.
Yeah, and I'll ship it to you, just like you ship me my Christmas presents. Great plan.
Jeff and Jeremy in the morning. Listen online at KZOZ.com.
So apparently corporate America is feeling pretty frustrated. There's a new human resource survey that went out, and people say they feel unappreciated. They feel there's poor communication. a lot of gossip, toxic atmosphere at work. But the number one thing they're dissatisfied with is their salary. 29% are frustrated about their salary, and the fact that they haven't got any kind of increase. Hey,
did you hear the Boeing thing that went down yesterday?
I know they've been on the picket line.
Yeah. So the machinists, there's 30,000 machinists, and Boeing said, okay, this is our best and final offer because it's a strike that's going on.
Yeah.
They proposed a contract that gives them a 30% pay increase over the next 4 years, a $6,000 ratification bonus, and they're reinstating bonuses that have been taken off the table in recent years. And they're improving their benefits, their health benefits, which growing up in a Boeing family, our health benefits were pretty good. I gotta tell you that compared to what I have now. The labor union has until Friday to ratify the offer. I'm thinking, where's the merit here? This is Boeing. Like, if anything, you all should be getting a pay decrease.
Yeah, it hasn't been good news on Boeing lately.
Your union is amazing. If they were able to get you a 30% pay increase, $6,000 in bonuses, and reinstate old bonuses that were already on the books, you have a good union that you're working for. That's incredible.
It's like going to a company that can't pay their bills and working for that company and then asking for a raise.
You know,
when you should just
30,000 of us are going to need 30% more than what we're making, even though we've done such a shoddy job of manufacturing for you to this point. Ridiculous. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. I guess you go work for Boeing, go work in that union, then you'll feel a little bit better if that's the case.
Other things,
they might not accept that deal either.
Yeah. Other things people are upset about in the workplace. Their work-life balance, their lack of advancement, their lack of support from leaders, morale. They're dissatisfied with paid time off. People need more personal days, Jeff. What was the new one? It wasn't personal day. It was...
Yeah, it's personal day. Oh, wait, no, it's...
mental health day?
Mental health day.
Or unhappy day, something like that.
Yeah, that's how they refer to it in China, which they give them 10 of them a year.
So if you want more money, you need more time off, you need more help, and you would like better benefits, just know you're not alone. Everybody's feeling it in this country today.
Unless you work at Boeing.
93.3 KZOZ rocks. Jeff and Jeremy in the morning.
You ever think about your broken arm, the one you got while playing football?
It was a wrist. It was a wrist. But yeah, I think about it from time to time because I broke it 3 times, and it still gives me
football
on really cold days. It gives me problems
each time. Football,
2 football, 1 wrestling. It was kind of fractured. The problem with your wrist is you have a lot of little bones that connect your wrist and your hand, and that I fractured a bunch of those. And so the doctor was like, "Listen, it's probably never going to fully heal. You'll always deal with this, especially as you get older. You're going to get arthritis, yada yada yada." So, I don't think I have arthritis, but when it's really cold, there's certain days where it's sore.
Would you have broke it? You broke your wrist twice playing football?
Yes, the first time I was in 8th grade, I was tackling a dude. I was on the bottom. I tackled the dude, and it was junior high. So everybody, what do? You dogpile. Everybody's on top. And my wrist was bent in a weird spot, and it just snapped it with all the weight.
Did it contribute to the second time and the third time that it broke?
Yeah, because it was never fully healed. And then, I got thrown down wrestling, and I think I jammed it another time into a guy when I was playing.
Do you think it would have happened if you were playing flag football?
It could have, but
there would have been a dog pile?
But probably not. I mean,
in flag football?
I don't know. We played flag football in PE reluctantly because we played tackle football. Even in my 5th and 6th grade, I played tackle football, pee-wee football. And so when we have to play flag football, we were still playing football, so we didn't care. My friends and I, when we played football on the weekends, we played tackle football without pads. I mean, that's just what you did.
I believe that flag football is going to be in the 2028 Olympics, but regular American football, as we know it, in pads and everything, has never made it into the Olympics.
Why?
But,
why is this going into the Olympics? I mean, I don't know. I guess why they put breakdancing in the Olympics. So
it's interesting because I was just reading a study that said that 35% of former NFL players, 35, fear that they have CTE. And CTE is chronic traumatic encephalopathy.
See, now the thing here is they've been hit so many times because they've been playing football like I did probably since they were a kid in Pee Wee, junior high, high school, college, and then they played in the pros. So almost every day of their life, they've been getting smacked in the head. I think for your regular kid that goes out and plays with his friends and plays in high school and I don't know. I mean, there's always a chance of getting hurt, and I'm not taking anything away from the seriousness of that. I'm just saying, are the chances there? Probably not like somebody who went on to play a full college career and in the NFL.
The symptoms that they experience include memory problems, mood swings, and thoughts of self-harm. They're constantly studying CTE, but I thought that's an astonishing number. I mean, that's over a third of NFL players believe that they have some form of it. Do you think there'll ever be a day that flag football is accepted as the norm and football as we know it now will go away? Like a lot of stars, a lot of NFL players they say they want to play in 2028. They're going to be on the flag football teams for the Olympics in the United States. And it's funny because I watched my first flag football game on Friday. My son is playing on a flag football team.
Your son is what, 7 or 8?
He's 8.
He's 8 now. Okay.
Well, he'll be 8 next.
What grade is that? Is that 3rd grade?
Second grade.
Second grade.
And there are kids that play, kindergarten and first and all that stuff. He's a little late to the game. And he likes it. He likes it a lot. It's fun. It was actually very fun to watch. I was really surprised because I was like you. When I was a kid, we got forced to play flag football in PE, and nobody really took it serious at all, and nobody even cared about flag football whatsoever. And I'm sure they've changed the game up to make it a little bit more exciting now. Still had a tough time grasping some of the rules. Like I think you have a certain amount of downs to get completely or to get to half field, and then a certain amount of downs to score from that. So I still got to wrap my head around that. Like there's no first downs in the traditional sense. But it's like a basketball versus and football together without the hitting. And it's still guys that fall down and guys that, you're intentionally unintentionally tackling somebody without pads on, really, sometimes because you go to reach for their flag and you grab their shirt and then you pull them down to the ground. But these are young kids, so they're
rubber
mobile and they're not slamming heads into each other, It's kind of interesting because I can see in like say 20, 30 years, flag football being the norm and tackle football not being what it is today. And the NFL's doing everything they can to embrace the sport of flag football because I think they see on the horizon studies like this that come out and they say, oh my gosh, a lot of our players say they're having brain problems after going on and playing in our league. We've got to limit our liability on that.
Well, I noticed there was a couple guys in the games. It was last week, not this week, but the week before, week 2. Their helmets looked funny. My buddy's like, oh yeah, that's their practice helmet. It's got extra padding they can slip over their regular heart. I go, why isn't everybody wearing those? Doesn't interfere with the game. It doesn't do anything.
Right. So it's funny because they all have the option to wear a version of that in game, and it's covered with like a neoprene cover.
Oh.
And only 6 players in the NFL are choosing the option to play with them.
I would like to know why the other players, what their issue is for not doing it. I mean, I would think that's just smart. I mean,
they say that it reduces the chance of getting a concussion by 30%. Like why Tua didn't have one on?
Every quarterback should have one on.
Yeah, no kidding.
They get slammed down quite a bit. Yeah. And all the guys on the line. I mean, you guys just banging heads together.
Receivers as well.
They get hit hard
all the time.
The more protection, the better. Huh.
It's very strange. Yeah, I heard that study the other day, and I was like, well, my response was the same as yours. There's 6 players playing with them right now. Out of the hundreds of players in the NFL, 6 were playing with these helmets right now. And I'm like, why isn't it everybody, and why isn't it just mandatory equipment? You know, I mean.
But let me ask you, let me answer your first question you asked. Would I watch flag football in the Olympics? No, I don't watch the Olympics pretty much anyways. There are a few things I like to watch. That's not going to draw me in.
What if like, who's a young receiver will probably play in the Olympics? Will be hitting his prime, like Malik Neighbors and Marvin Harrison and all those guys. They're playing in the Olympics and they're playing flag football. You wouldn't watch them?
No, I'll just wait to watch them play real football.
Okay, all right. But what if real football goes away?
Well, then I'll stop watching football. I'll go do something else.
Jeff and Jeremy in the morning.
You think it's expensive to live here? A new list of the top 10 most expensive towns in America. We're talking the median home value have been released. I was surprised San Luis Obispo's not on it. What is the median home value in San Luis Obispo? Do you know, Jeff?
So we were looking at a house the other day, not that we're thinking about. I mean, the price was enough to almost tease us to move back down over the hill, especially now that school's going on and athletics and all that stuff, and we're having to drive back and forth quite a bit. This house needed some work. It was right across the street from the first place I lived when I moved into San Luis Obispo, so I like that neighborhood a lot. And I was like, oh, I could do some work to it. I mean, outdated as outdated could be. I remember talking to the guy that lived in the house often when I lived there, and I always thought it was a funky, cool house, but it's never been updated at all. And it was 950,000. About the same square footage as this house.
Yeah, but you work on the House Swayze podcast. I mean, I just figured this would be information you would know at the median house price in San Luis Obispo.
I would say 950 is under median. I would say the other comps, like 2-bedroom, 3-bath. I mean, 3-bath, 2-bedroom.
In the city limits of San Luis Obispo?
3-bedroom, 2-bath. Inside the city limits of San Luis Obispo.
County would be much less. It'd probably be
1.2, 1.3.
Right.
You're talking about, 1,800 square feet.
The county would be at 700,000 then?
Higher than that. I think the county's 900,000.
Yeah, so I'm guessing whoever did
that includes Napomo and Paso Robles, which pull it down. So, yes.
Who is this? American... I don't know, somebody who picked it up, newser.com. Doesn't really make sense. But they're saying that the most expensive place to live is Vineyard Haven, Massachusetts at $998,000, the average median home value. And then it goes down. Jackson, Wyoming is at $847. Breckenridge, Colorado at $760. San Luis Obispo's already got a beat. I don't know how they didn't make the list. Maybe there was it's population between 10 and 50,000 people. And so San Luis Obispo probably falls right underneath that, right? Right under the 50,000.
No, it's right there. It's right in there.
That's in the wheelhouse.
That's in the range, yeah. Like that's...
Yeah, they missed big.
The mountain climber in The Price is Right is not falling off that hill.
If you want to live somewhere cheaper, you could live in Steamboat Springs, Colorado, which I've heard is a really nice place. I think our company had a radio station there for a while. They sold it. $691,000, the town's median home value there. Haley, Idaho. I don't know where Haley, Idaho is. Is it on the top, the bottom? Is it in the middle? I'll look it up. Hood River, Oregon is a nice place to live. $492,000 there. Ellensburg, Washington, not a nice place to live.
God,
but for some reason, $417,000 is the median household income, or
in Ellensburg
value in Ellensburg, Washington.
In Ellensburg. I don't know if you could pay me $417,000 to live there.
In Los
it's a
Alamos,
miserable place.
New Mexico,
Oh, that
tricked you there, 412. And Astoria wraps up the top 10 at 400,000 in Astoria, Oregon. Interesting.
So these are small to mid market.
This is 10 to 50,000 people.
So I think the reason why we're not included in that is because when they look at it market wise, like Ellensburg and Astoria and all those places, Haley, those places are in it of themselves. They are not attached to another town. Like, so when this market is listed, it's listed as the San Luis Obispo, Paso Robles, 5 cities region, and then that ups that.
So they're looking at the county, and that's why.
For the most part, yes. Yeah.
I mean, there's Bellevue, Idaho, which is just south of Haley. I'm just happen to be looking at a map right now. Haley is located on. Does it tell me what the name of this highway is?
But Haley's out on its own, right? There's not like a bunch of towns around it. We're just like Jackson.
There's a town right before it. No, it's just like San Luis Obispo going from San Luis Obispo. I mean, God, Bellevue to Haley. I bet.
Yeah, but you're talking about how big are these towns, Jeremy? They're not like the same size as Paso Robles or San Luis Obispo or the 5 cities collectively. And you combine all those together, and the population is way higher than what they're looking at.
Yeah, Haley, Idaho is 8,000 people.
Yeah, see. So I mean, you're talking about, if you're doing the area, the actual market area, it exceeds that 50,000 by far. That's why we didn't make that list.
How about Steamboat Springs, Colorado? How many people live there?
I'm just saying,
you should feel a little ripped off that you weren't mentioned if you spend your hard-earned money.
I'm fine not being mentioned
on living there. And population 13,000 in Steamboat Springs. That's a ski resort town too. Much like here, it's a vacation destination.
Jeff and Jeremy in the morning. Listen online at kzoz.com. Subscribe to the Jeff and Jeremy podcast now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, and YouTube. It's your Central Coast commute-friendly podcast.